Hello book lovers, I know I'm terribly late, but I finally managed to film a February wrap-up. It's quite a handful, so sit back and enjoy. First up, Mikhail Bulgakov's Diaboliad. This is a short stories collection, 5 in total, ranging from science fiction to satire and parody. My favorite ones were The Fatal Legs and The Adventures of Chichikov that made me laugh so hard my stomach hurt. After all the fun I've had with Diaboliad, I moved on to Jonathan Coe's The Close Circle, and all the fun just evaporated. This was a gift from my brother, who must have thought that the hideous cover looked funny. I refuse to talk more about this book because the writing was so bland and the characters were so awful, I can't believe I even managed to finish it. My next read was thankfully a delight. The Blazing World by Siri Hustvedt tells the story of Harriet Burden, an artist who spent her life in anonymity because of her marriage to a famous art dealer. After his death, she decides to make them see and finds 3 male artists to pose as her masks and present her art as their own. All 3 shows are a success, but as is usually the case, the big reveal does not go as planned. A brilliant book about gender roles, power, money, fame, perception, and of course, art. Another fantastic read was Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms. The novel is set during the First World War and chronicles the love affair of American Lieutenant Frederick Henry and English nurse Catherine Barclay. You know what they say about Hemingway, you either love him or hate him, and I love him. Takashi Hiraide's The Guest Cat has one of the prettiest covers, but that's pretty much it. A 30-something Japanese couple rent a small cottage in a quiet suburb of Tokyo. A cat shows up every day, they become attached to it, and then it disappears. Then they move out and find new cats to play with, and that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Yeah. After that, I moved on to Tina Fey's Bossypants. Bossypants is Tina Fey's autobiography. It's about her upbringing, SNL, 30 Rock, and all the things that she's done. I didn't find this extremely funny. I liked it, but I have to say I preferred Amy Poehler's Yes Please. After that, I was in the mood for something more classic. And so I moved on to Thomas Hardy's Two on a Tower. This is my very first Thomas Hardy, and I'm pretty sure it was not a wise choice. Lady Constantine, whose husband's been traveling in Africa for several years, falls in love with a much younger man, Sweden St. Cleeve, who's obsessed with becoming a famous astronomer. A total snooze fest. After that, I wanted to read something more upbeat, and so I chose Andy Riley's Selfish Pigs. These comic strips are hilarious. You should totally read it if you're in, if you want a little pick-me-up. After that, I've read another great book, The Ice Age by Kirsten Reed. The narrator is an unknown-named 17-year-old girl who hitches a ride with a much older man, Gunther, that travels around the US with no apparent destination. At first they become friends, later on lovers, and then things take a dramatic turn. This was brilliant. You should totally check it out. Then I picked up, overhyped and totally worth it, Station 11. After a deadly flu annihilates more than 99% of the population, the remaining people must learn how to live and not just to survive. The narrative goes back and forth between the years before the outbreak, during the outbreak, and 20 years after the outbreak. It's one of the best dystopian novels I've read in a long time. Moving on to White Sargasso Sea by Rhys. If you were not a fan of Mr. Rochester, I hated his guts, aka the male protagonist in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, then you should totally read this book. If you weren't, then you should totally read this book. Based on Jane Eyre, this is written as a prequel and tells the story of Antoinette Cosway, aka Mr. Rochester's crazy locked up in the attic wife, Bertha. My last read was Fernando Pessoa's The Book of Disquiet. I don't know how to describe this book. It's like you're into the writer's stream of thought, of consciousness. His beliefs about life, solitude, togetherness, freedom will most definitely rock your world. 12 books in total, not bad. So if you've read any of those books, let me know in the comments below. See you soon.